Hello my friends, welcome to the Chestnut channel. It is February, and it's February in New England. Certainly it's wild and woolly out there and pretty cold, snowy and icy. We're going to get more snow in a few days. February is MacGillivray month on the Chestnut channel, so I'm glad you're here with us. I'm going to read a story relating to the Battle of Culloden and Alexander MacGillivray, who was the colonel who led the Macintosh regiments during, I should say, Clanhattan regiments during the Culloden battle. Now this mentions a name which is Dallas. Dallas, like Dallas, Texas in the United States. The name Dallas is related to the Macintoshes. They were a family in the area during a lot of these episodes and happenings that we hear about. Very little mentioned, though, were the Dallases, but they are mentioned in this. This is detailing what's called a tradition of the Dallas family. I found this piece, it was related on a website called Fiona Sinclair. I'm not sure who she is, but she's written this Dallas family tradition about Culloden. The following is a tradition of the Battle of Culloden, which was handed down by members of an old family of the district of Nairnshire, the Dallases of Cantray. During the turbulent last Jacobite rising, two beautiful girls lived in the valley of the Nairn. At Clunas, a well-known house of Cawdor high in the hills, lived Elizabeth Campbell, daughter of Duncan Campbell of Clunas. She was a highly accomplished young woman, having been educated in Italy, where her father had fled after taking part in the First Rising, 1715. She was engaged to be married to Alexander MacGillivray, chief of the clan of that name. Anna Dallas of Cantray, on the other hand, was a daughter of the chief of the Dallases. In her home was the old house of Cantray in the valley of the Nairn below. She likewise was engaged to be married, and her fiancé was Duncan Macintosh of Castledders, a near relative of the Macintosh chief. These were said to be the two most beautiful women in the Highlands at that time. Now Angus, chief of the Macintoshes, was on the government side. In his absence, his wife, the heroic Lady Macintosh, née Farquharson, then only 20 years of age, had raised her husband's clan for Prince Charles, which was, of course, the opposing side, opposing her husband. On the eve of the Battle of Culloden, it was thought that the Macintoshes of Castledders might lead the clan in the impending battle. That night, however, Elizabeth Campbell told her MacGillivray fiancé that unless he led the Macintosh clan for the prince on the morrow, he need come to see her no more. So she gave him an ultimatum, my friends. Take part in this battle, or we're through. The young fellow accordingly hurried off to Moy Hall and told Colonel Anne, as she later became known, that the MacGillivrays would not fight on the morrow unless he was in command of the whole Macintosh clan. I never heard this before, so it's sort of he's holding her hostage. I'll fight, but no MacGillivrays will be with me unless I'm the leader. Now the MacGillivrays were only a sept of the clan. This means Clanhattan, though the mother of Dunmaglas was descended from the 16th Macintosh chief, and they made a considerable part of the strength of Clan Macintosh itself. Now, when they say Macintosh here, they mean Hatton, and sometimes the Macintoshes can mean the Clanhattan. Many documents, you have to sort of read between the lines how they mean this, what they're saying at the time. Okay. I hope you're enjoying this, all these clan stories that I'm doing. I certainly am. Lady Macintosh therefore became alarmed and sent for Castledders and begged him, for the sake of the cause which was at stake, to forego his right, as nearest relative of its chief, to lead the clan on this occasion. This is a big thing she's asking, my friends. She's put aside your pride, put aside your clan. It's a huge ask. Moved by her entreaty, he agreed with the words, "Madam, at your request, I resign my command, but a Macintosh chief cannot serve under MacGillivray." Wow. And accordingly, he went home and took no part in the battle. My goodness. Next day, it is said, the heart of Elizabeth Campbell was filled with pride when she saw her sweetheart, Alexander MacGillivray, yellow-haired young giant as he was, marshalling the Macintoshes 700 strong in the center of the prince's army. It is said she rode onto the field to congratulate him. The prince, noticing her, asked who she was, and on being told, remarked that MacGillivray was a lucky fellow indeed to have so beautiful and spirited a fiancée. Alas, a few hours later, young MacGillivray lay dying on the field. His last act, it is said, was to help a poor drummer boy whom he heard moaning for water to the spring, which may still be seen at hand, which is known to this day from the fact as MacGillivray's or the Dead Men's Well. There he was found the next morning, his body stripped of by the cruel Hanoverian soldiery. It was remarked what a beautiful figure of a young fellow he was. His body was buried in the moss where it lay, and 6 weeks later, after the English had gone, it was taken up to be reburied under the doorstep of the kirk at Petty. There's many individuals buried at that church, I understand, folks. Many a very large note within our stories, within our clans, within the Clan Hatton. Young as he was, Dunmaglas had played his part splendidly in the battle. In the furious attack which he led, the Macintoshes almost annihilated the left wing of Duke of Cumberland's army, and before he fell, and with 4 officers of his clan, MacGillivray himself encountered the commander of Barrel's regiment, and was said to have struck off some of his fingers with his broadsword. So he got his last lick in, folks, which is looking like what happened before he met his end. Next day, in the streets of Inverness, this commander met a private soldier wearing MacGillivray's fine embroidered waistcoat, and recognizing it, indignantly stopped the man and ordered him to take it off. "Yesterday," the commander said, "on the field of battle, I met the brave young man who wore that waistcoat, and it shall not be thus degraded." This is the kind of military respect people had for each other on each side. At least this is how we read about it. It may be a romanticized version on words on paper, of course, than actual happenings on a field of battle. Who knows? That waistcoat, however, must afterwards have been lost or again stolen, for it is recorded that it was observed exposed for sale in the window of an Inverness tailor. Such was the tradition of the Dallases, accounting for the fact that Dunmaglas led the Macintoshes at Culloden. But it must be remembered that he had seen foreign service and had led the clan from the first, meeting the prince at Stirling with 700 men at his back on Charles's return from England, and commanding the regiment at the Battle of Falkirk. Meanwhile, poor Elizabeth Campbell, though her ambition had been gratified, was stricken to the heart. Her big, beardless boy lover, 6 feet 5 inches in height, with light yellow hair and a complexion as fair and delicate as any lady's, was dead, and he would indeed come to see her no more. A few months afterwards, she died of a broken heart. On the other hand, Anna Dallas had lost her father. The chief of the Dallases was killed in the battle by a bullet through the left temple. But she married her lover, Duncan Macintosh of Castletters, and their son, Angus, by and by, succeeded as the Macintoshes' chief, and thusly of the great Clan Hatton. So I hope you enjoyed that, my friends. And there's a few people, one in particular, I think you'll know who you are when I say this, that's been asking me a little bit about the Dallases. She knows a lot more than I do. A woman in South Africa. How are you? I'm so glad you're with us on these historical pieces that I read, and I'm glad you enjoy learning about this as I do. There's many people along the ride with us, of course, but the name of Dallas is one of a few sort of, I would say, obscure names that are involved in the Clanhattan. One of the sept names, right, of Macintosh is what Dallas is. There's many of those, and I'm going to try to get a little bit of a spotlight on some of these if we can. We see them in passing. We don't sometimes understand how much effect they had on the lives of the clan as a whole. May not have been much, but they deserve a mention. They deserve to be part of this because they are part of our history, as is each name and each family that lived back then played a part in the clan. We don't always have their names, though, which is unfortunate. But so please stay with us for MacGillivray month in February. We'll have an interview with my friend Ron MacGillivray coming up about MacGillivray and Culloden and lots of subjects. So please stay with us, my friends, and subscribe to the Touch Not channel. Touch Not.